I'm thinking of you today when I'm making this video. So I will have to tag you when I get home and make it for you. I'm thinking about Margaret and different WordPress friends. Kaz, dearest Annabelle has been back. Maxine. And I even think about Anita and Andy. I think of all of you. And this is what it's like to ride on the Parkway. See? That's one view, I guess. I don't know if it shows very well because I'm trying to drive. So. They're building a new bridge. As you can see, they're getting it ready on the hills. And we could come upon construction any moment, but it's just so beautiful. See how we're up under all these trees? There's plenty of sunshine, and yet we're still shaded very nicely. And we're so high up, the breeze is even cooler. I have a little bit of air conditioning on to keep the heat out of the car, but I definitely have the windows down. Just so beautiful. Feels so nice. God is so incredibly kind to allow this to be my back road. People travel from all over the world, paying thousands of dollars to travel, hope they have a room for the night, and you never know what's causing the Parkway to be shut down or certain hours. Fortunately, there is a lot of crime that happens on the Parkway as well. But when all of that's not happening, it's so beautiful. And you know that there's hikers and runners all up in these things. And cyclists. Some of them ride just a regular road. And some of them ride these trails. And I think of Joe Quinlan and his family. How they're always going up there. My cousin Kimberly, her mom Carmen, her sister Allison, her brother Jonathan, and her dad. I'm just forgetting his name at the moment, but he seems pretty cool. So that's a good job of looking out for her at times. Here we come down this beautiful slope. We're going to come across a long bridge. Oh, there we got someone riding, coming across the bridge. We'll get a quick shot of that person before I turn the camera to the... there we go. We're turning. Got a lot of cyclists behind us. Sure you can hear that. That's motorcyclists. Probably unhappy if we're not speeding. Everyone tends to speed up here. But it's so beautiful to enjoy. There's the entrance to the Arboretum. Such a nice place as well. You can actually get free library passes to go in there. And as you see across there, the sign shows you can either go left to Asheville or right to Hendersonville. But you're already in Asheville. It's just telling you if you go the other way, you won't be anymore. Only for a little bit. We're going up beside Bent Creek Church. That's what was to the right, was Bent Creek. A lot of rafting and tubing, things like that on the river. We're getting right past Bent Creek Baptist Church. That's what that is. I used to go there at one point, taking my son Anthony to a singles ministry that years ago when he was little, he went to a preschool at a church. The teachers were so fond of him, and the pastor as well, called him his buddy. And at 3 years old, he had already made such strong connections, and they wanted me to start bringing him to church, and eventually we did. And then we were going to places and things together so much because his teachers and I were also friends outside of school and church, and they were the ones who told me about this program over here for the singles ministry. And it tickled me that one of our group, of our girls, if you will, that went with us, she was married, but she still brought her son and came. And it was just the kind of ministry that didn't nitpick about who came. She was friends of people that were in the singles ministry, and she brought her son, and they didn't complain about him being in the singles ministry because they were so open, just wanting to reach out to people. They usually had around 250 to 350 attendance each night or event they had because they were just so open to ministering, and it was nice to have somewhere to go. As a single person, I didn't really worry about being single, but I went because they wanted to go, and it was so fun. And it did give Anthony a place to go with friends that he had, because he had Denise, which is a teacher and a friend, and her son Chris, and then Jerry. His mom Yvonne was the one that was married, but she came along because it gave him something to be able to do with friends, and they had no problem with her coming and joining her Christian friends, having somewhere to go. And then Miss Yvonne came. I said Miss Yvonne. I'm thinking Miss Sue and Miss Luann. And there was one more that came at other times. And the even cooler thing was that it was at a Baptist church, but let's see. I know Luann was Catholic, one was Presbyterian, two of us were, no. I forget how many were Baptist, but 3 of us were Nazarene, because that's the church we were all going to in the daycare, where they went, the kids, and where they all taught together, and worked together in the cafeteria. And some nights, one of them might not be able to come, and then another night, another one might not be able to, but then they would still go get their child, and we went to all kinds of things together. Picnics, out to restaurants together, concerts. We had our first Christian concerts with our small groups. I say small group, but we were just a group. I guess you'd call it a small group nowadays in this life group thing they keep doing everywhere. But we didn't join a group. We just were friends that God brought together, and first in a daycare, because that's where he began, was in their daycare. And then we became church goers there as well. And 3 years later, we were joined as members. And by that time, our whole family had started coming to church, and our friends. God used Anthony mightily, and he used Nazarene Church. There was such a blessing. The foundation began there. They are gifted with young people, with little people. I had never seen 3-year-olds behave so well, and yet even though they weren't perfectly behaved, that's all you could see is how well they were behaved and how they could speak God. They could speak the Bible. It was so beautiful. And the plays were so sweet. And they didn't jump on the kids if they didn't do something perfectly, or if they happened to scream, because kids do. I mean, those things were kind of expected. So much so that they didn't get frustrated with them. It was more of a sometimes cute and sometimes easy to see how well they could behave because of how much you were expecting them not to. And it was just so beautiful. But we're getting ready to turn and go to the next road. Oh, I almost was going to head home. I do have to make a stop on the way home. I need to get an air conditioner for our kitchen and living room. We got one about a month or two back. And there's nothing wrong with it. It was a godsend. It's just, it was too small. I didn't know sizes very well. And as soon as I got it, I knew that God was in that AC all the way around. And eventually we saw that Anthony is in need of one as well. He's been so sick and fighting with his allergies. And we believe it's the AC that's in his room that we've had for quite a while. The minute it even turns on, I can smell the mildew. And he's highly allergic. Bless his heart, he calls himself the mildew radar. If there's mildew, especially around him when he's sleeping or something in the closed room, he's going to find it. His body will get sick. So I'm praying that the Lord will help me find the right AC, that I will find the one he has waiting for me. That's the way I want to say it, because that's the way he did it last time. And that's the way I trust it to be, because I have been praying. I've been trying to be diligent, researching and saving and trying to do my part that God expects me to do. And of course that I have to do. I mean, I have to walk into the store or however, you do these things, because we have to literally move the AC and things. God can always just put AC in a window if he wanted to. God can do that. But of course he's not going to do it like that. Miracles aren't magic. God is not a magician. He could be if he wanted to, but the thing about magicians is they live off illusions. They live off of taking one thing and turning it into another, which really, when you think about it, is taking something that had its own purpose and its own existence and totally just changing it to something for someone else's temporary pleasure, maybe their need. But you never know what someone's going to need that you take away. I know I'm sounding totally trivial, but it's magic is not the same thing. God doesn't tell us that there's necessarily not magic. He tells us not to have to do those things because they are mentioned by name as things to avoid and that he doesn't want us to have anything to do with. They're called abominations, which means God doesn't like them. They are not good. They are of evil. I'm not going to harp on anyone who likes to do magic for kids and stuff, though. I think it's better to teach kids through love and not fighting, but still teaching them the truth. That's the way I've always done with Anthony since he was little. I didn't give my family a hard time about wanting to take him to Santa and my sister putting him into an outfit when he was little in the middle of the mall that said My First Christmas. I didn't pound on all that. Of course, I wasn't as strong in my faith then, and didn't know my Bible as well, but there are a lot of ways that can actually come to be a benefit when you just allow them to experience something that's is happening, instead of making this big fight with the family or in a mall or something, to just wait for the opportunity to explain to the child. And of course, if anybody makes references to you, you let them know, well, I don't necessarily agree, or I don't believe the same about Santa. We know there's no fictional person driving no sleigh. But there was a person years ago that was a church saint who had a heart to reach children. And he used toys as a means to go out and hand to the children to be able to witness to them. And yes, his ministry and he himself were turned into completely mythical, all kinds of different forms of mythical Santas around the world. There's so many names. I used to have a cloth book to show that to Anthony as he was growing up, the different names that he was named around the world. And, you know, even though Anthony learned it and he knew the truth, when he would be so caught up in the excitement of Santa and them shaking these bells like sleigh bells, making him look out the house and thinking that Santa was flying over, even though he found moments of having joy in that just as a kid would want to do, he knew. You could tell he knew. And you could tell that he enjoyed that he knew. So because he understood, even that young, it wasn't some kind of mythical, oh, turn my toys into something I want. It wasn't this mythical kind of magic or something. He understood it was this person, this genuine person who had a genuine ministry and a genuine heart for God, and that his ministry and his fame got totally twisted, and that those things are not true, but that it helps us to understand others and their traditions and why they do what they do, and there's not a reason to fight with them. When we have opportunities to sit down and talk about things, we can. But that it's up to a person's individual right to believe or not to believe what they do. And I have totally went way into too much of a conversation. Okay, I literally felt like I was sitting with you. Randy, Margaret, all y'all on Facebook. I mean, Facebook too, but WordPress is my family. Kaz and Anita and my daughters. I have daughters on WordPress. It's so awesome. I'm feeling too at home on here with you. I'm talking way too much. Okay, I'm going to go in the store and get the AC. I know it'll be too late by the time you see this to pray with me, but I believe God can do anything now and in the future to make this work. My faith is that I'm going to walk in here and I'm looking for the AC that God has waiting on us. So I'm definitely praying about that. Love you guys. If God loves you more, He loves you, loves you, loves you so much. He cherishes you. He treasures each moment you're walking and spending time with Him. Please take a second just to sit with Him, just to say hey, because He loves you so much. And I gotta go. Love y'all.